I call the May meeting of Cable Board to order. Do we want to do roll call?
Sure.
Sam Harvey.
Joe Milwaukee,
Sydney Job,
Clint Brown.
Michael King.
Chad Frank.
John Pelsey.
Okay. We have minutes for the last meeting.
I believe I emailed them
Yeah,
to everybody.
They're posted.
Oh, okay. Do we have any, if you read them, I assume you did. Any?
Motion to accept them.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes. John, your new business director's report.
Director's report basically is all about Market Street Plaza. The mayor's been working on that for months and months and months. And finally, we got to the point where we could mount the light and sound systems and stuff. So I spent the last couple of weeks working on that. And then for Celebration in the Ville, Justin ran sound for all of the bands, the 4 bands, as well as the day prior. And I ran lights for the shows there. I thought it came out pretty well. If you haven't seen it, there's a video on the YouTube channel. So you can check that out. Just kind of a quick display of what it looked like.
I heard nothing but good feedback. Everybody that was down there.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I was watching Channel 13 weather.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the week that you did the changeover.
Mhm.
And because I think I sent you a text about it.
Yeah.
And they went right to the Connersville weather station up here and it looked gorgeous. And they went full screen
Well,
for it.
we put that new camera right there at the corner because of that reason, because it's 4K, because I knew that they loved us anyway, because the previous camera was really awesome. And this one's 10 times the quality. So they're going to use us all the time because it's got a great view of the sky. It shows the Market Street Plaza, the courthouse, the street. It's a good looking shot.
Yeah.
So
Strategic.
That will also be very helpful for us should anything occur over there.
That's
yeah, and that's actually on a couple of our security systems.
Yeah,
and,
we've got
a bunch more.
4 cameras at Market Street Plaza. And then there's 2 on the courthouse. One's pointing at it and then it's pointing at the parking lot. So we've
Awesome.
got plenty of cameras over for security.
We've got great coverage.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things is, I think as Michael showed me all the other weather bug stations around the state.
Mhm.
They're all just like parking lots of schools. They're not showing it. And they're not,
Boring shots.
the quality was awful.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've got the only high quality camera is, and we did put it there showing Market Street because when things are going on, they like to show that.
Sure.
So it was a marketing scheme as well.
And I did stick the logo on there for the celebration.
Yeah,
You did?
that looked great.
Yeah, it really shows off well. And you're right, most of those cameras are parking lots or
Yeah.
open fields or whatever. So,
It's kind of silly. I've looked at all of them too, and I'm like, wow.
And the app-
Yeah, you get one cue from the mainstream media in Indiana. This is what you do with it.
Well, someone shared with me, News Center 13 or something like that. Was it Angela Buckman or something? What was her name? Weather.
mhm.
And it was when we first hung our string lights up. And they just went on and on about it. Said, just great job, Connersville, well done. I was like, you know what? And then they showed it a bunch. I was like, this is good
Good move,
marketing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when we moved the camera, we put it there and
It still shows the string
it
light.
shows the string lights, shows Market Street. It's free marketing.
Yeah.
And we know it's high res. We know they're going to use it. So
Yeah.
Well, when we first discussed actually getting the weather bug, however many years ago that
It was
was,
a long time ago,
marketing was one of the ideas that we talked about.
and it worked then too.
Mhm.
And back then the camera, was HD. But it was better than anything else that they had out there. And the angle that we positioned it, looking at City Hall and down the street where you can see the
you see
lights and stuff, it looked good. Now it looks even better.
all the festival. They could see the booths, the food trucks. They could see everything.
There she is.
Hey,
Go on, Ed.
And
Parker present.
next
There.
time, when I put the logo up there, I think we need to put the time and date below it of the event. Like celebration of the Ville, date, this day, this day.
Yeah, well, we could
this
definitely
time.
use it for marketing
Yeah.
purposes. If they're gonna show it in Indianapolis all the time, we may as well promote
And
stuff.
that was my thought is,
Yeah.
after we got done, I'm like, if we put the date on there, then they
Here's a
go,
marketing tool.
here, what's the, here's what's going on in Connersville. Oh, here's the date for it. It's right here in the corner.
Well, along that same lines, for marketing, we also have the monitors at Market Street Plaza,
Seen those.
which,
I played 3 songs.
I've worked on a few things today. I haven't posted anything yet, but we've got some new ads that are gonna be popped up there.
I think when I seen it, it had the city seal on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks
we're
sharp.
running City Seal. There's a weather that pops up and then Chad playing drums. So-
I made it all worth it right there, Dave. Surprised you could move.
Oh, I was struggling.
But it's playing a video right now too.
Good.
So, but that'll be swapped out tomorrow with some new stuff, including stuff for graduation and promoting the live feed.
Well, John, you and the mayor did an outstanding job of pulling that off. And, you know, weather was iffy.
Well, speaking
Paul
of
Martin's over
pulling,
there still pulling concrete on Thursday.
he pulled so much wire. Every time I went by there, he's pulling wire.
I was out there every morning before work, every night after work, and all weekend working to get that done for about 3 months.
I
Yeah.
know,
It was
I
great.
see it.
We got conduit. I stuck everything in conduit. There's wire. I mean, there's so much wire. I think it's unbelievable, but we wanted to do it right. Last thing I want to do was something that didn't work well. I had several things in mind.
Yep.
The first thing in mind was set up and tear down. When we rented that stage, I would get my trailer hooked up at 5 o'clock AM, be over here at 6 AM, pull everything down out of the studio, get over there, maybe set up by noon. That's how long it took to set everything up.
Good.
We did the show, we tore it down. I might have got packed up and loaded everything back at TV3 by 2 to 3 in the morning. That's how long of a day it was. It just took forever. And it's a lot of work moving all that stuff. It's not light. And we didn't have our full lights.
Yeah.
Now the setup, you guys got there at 10. I was there, I'm an early riser, so I was there early. You guys got there at 10. By 11 o'clock, we were ready to go. Completely set
Very
up.
organized.
When we tore it down,
Easy.
half hour, 45 minutes,
Yeah.
we were done. So everything is quick and easy. So in the back, you'll see like kind of, I actually took an old lamp post off Park Road and made a base, attached a top to it. I've got 3 Cat 6 back there. He's got 30 amp RV and 110. All he has to do is open the door, plug his board in. He's got full control of everything from the back.
Yep.
And so the snake is
Perfect.
basically buried. If I don't want to do a full show in the electric room, he just unplugs it, plugs in, he can turn it on and just walk away from it. So
It's easy.
we try to design everything so that we try to think of literally everything so that we be quick and easy, because the hardest part is set up and tear down. So
So where was Justin with the controls?
On the back
in
as
the
well.
back,
In the back. was
Everything runs off Cat 6 cable.
in the back of the building?
No, sorry.
Back of the parking lot.
Back part.
Now the sound booth has got a full view of the complete stage, where
Okay.
before we're off to the side.
Now, is he under a canopy or something?
Yeah, we had.
Well, we were until the wind tried to kill it, but
Oh, okay.
then we had to put another one up and tie it down.
Is there thought of putting something permanent there that would protect him a little better?
I don't want anything permanent there because it's gonna be used for farmer's market. I don't want it looking bad.
We
either.
did consider something though, maybe getting a trailer that we could mount something to,
Okay.
and then we could just
Or a side that you could just pop up and operate out of.
something like that. Yeah.
We're gonna find a creative way to get something quick and easy so that all we gotta do is pull it up, open it up, and plug in. We got power,
I've seen a
roof.
DJ that worked out of a trailer, and that's what it was. There was a flap on the side that he would raise it up. It had lights mounted on the top and on the sides, and it was a
That's nice.
Well,
pretty nice setup.
the other problem I was not thinking of is I had that first parking spot set as designated for TV3. Well, that's actually 6 inches low. You wouldn't think that 6 inches would make a
No.
difference.
It does.
We need to be about 16 inches higher. So whatever we do is gonna be elevated so we can see above the
Yep.
crowd and everything. Once we got up on, the next day, we moved up on the concrete and it helped, but still, when people stand there, it kind
You
of.
couldn't see the stage
You couldn't
somewhat.
see the stage.
Still worked though.
Yep.
It works.
I can see the
What
light.
is the streaming availability right now? Say if you wanted to stream an event there.
And I can stream from anywhere. I've got the portable device.
Yeah, so I was wondering, is it easy to set up? And
Mhm.
and the reason I'm asking Wayne County, something like Wayne County Idol, they're published. That's a big thing for them every year. They
Yep.
do a lot of marketing
We
on
can
it,
do that.
and that's what I was thinking.
That's
That would be
pretty much what it was designed for.
Yeah.
Was to do video production from there. That's why we have the 30 amp connection,
Yeah.
so we can back the production van in and produce right there from the back.
And there's like endless opportunities to.
Yeah.
We've
stuff
got the
there.
Wi-Fi transmitting right across from
Yeah.
City Hall, across the courthouse.
Yeah,
So we've got
So-
lots of internet.
good.
John and I really focus on the
Yep.
tech. I was like, I want everything you need and might want, so we can put it in now.
Yep.
So we ran an extra Cat 6 so he can pull up his laptop, and even like the TV sits on there for marketing. He can run his laptop, plug into those, and then if we have a bigger venue, he can show what's going on stage.
Yeah, we can run our own
on
slides
the monitors.
Oh, nice,
or video, whatever we want, really.
Sure.
It's very professional, fully controllable.
nice.
Very good.
One last thing about Market Street Plaza is a lot of people keep asking me about the lights that are up there. You know, is it safe to leave those out all the time? And yes, those are IP65 outdoor rated. You can leave them up year round. It's the same type of stuff that Disney uses outdoors all year round. We'll take them down after Winterfest, as we want to use them for that time period too. And then store them and then bring them back out in the spring.
But Disney doesn't have to worry about ice as much as we do, but
It doesn't concern.
Well, they're.
But no, it's not an issue.
Under the roof.
Yeah, they're good though.
We got one piece of the puzzle we're still trying to figure out. See, that light bar we have, the frame itself exists. Nothing, we fabricated everything else.
Yeah.
It's designed and built. Chase did a wonderful job helping us design that. The reason it's designed the way it is and it's mounted the way it is, we designed it to lower to the ground.
Yeah.
The winch part is what we're currently looking at. We've got some, they don't make IP65 winches, they do have 55 winches, which is will still be good for outdoors, but we're figuring out, we want to be able to lower that to the ground so we can take everything off,
Sure.
store it away, and then raise it back up, because that's 30 feet up in
That's,
the air.
well, yeah, that's what, I think, didn't I bring those lights out to the high school and you and I DJ? We
Not
had them on the
those.
crank.
No, not those.
Those are 100 pounds a piece.
Yeah,
No, I mean, my setup that was similar to that had a crank
Had
where
a
you could
crank,
take the whole
yeah.
bar up and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made it a
This
lot
is
easier to
like
just.
raise it 1,000 pounds. Those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
those,
Gotta make sure it's safe.
those big lights are 100 pounds a piece, and me and John's up there.
That's my shoulder still isn't working.
Yeah. Yeah, every time I've seen John, I'll be like, high five, he's like,
I don't think so. We want it so we can lower it to the ground and take those lights off and on easier. Plus, it's safer. You're not
Yeah.
gonna break anything. You're not gonna break us in particular.
And we've got portable cases for them, so we can lower them right into the case.
nice.
That's the goals is, again, speed up the setup and tear down. Second piece of the puzzle is once we start getting more events being, my goal, I would love to personally see weekly sound events or music events or whatever. People come downtown, grab a bite to eat on Friday night, go to listen to a couple hours of music, go home.
Yeah.
We're gonna need more Johns and Justins.
Sure.
Because they can't run to every
Yeah.
week. There's just not enough time to do that. So
Are you thinking like a summer concert series or are you thinking
spring,
like
summer, fall, celebration.
all year
of those-
round?
Yeah, celebration of those is gonna be the kickoff. I want to get it built up to where it's just like, again, it's just an hour of music, but I've also got other ideas where it's more than just music. Music and food go together unbelievably.
Sure.
But I want to highlight local food as well,
Yeah.
because that is designed to bring people to our downtown to see our downtown thrive and
Yeah.
grow. That's the whole point of that stage. Without people, you don't have business downtown. So bring people, businesses will come. We're already seeing it. So that's the whole point. So we want to do more and more events with a couple bigger events. Competition's always fun. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. Me and John's planning about 4 or 5 shows for this year, keep it small. Hey, I'm just an office of one, so I really don't have the time to do all this right now. We got kind of one bigger event we're working on, probably the Battle of the Church Band, worship bands. We're putting that
I know you
together
knew
right
about
now.
that. That's coming up.
Yeah, that'd be in
We're gonna have to
September.
work on that.
Yeah.
That one's gonna be in September. We want to do a battle of worship bands to highlight all genres of music as
Yeah.
well. But we've got most of the music you'll see the rest of the year is not gonna be full scale like we had with a big light show and everything. It's just gonna be smaller bands.
We're working on like a couple bluegrass bands.
Yeah.
And then in the
Country.
future, a country themed night, maybe a bluegrass festival. Which
You know, I was thinking with the art, they do art exhibits a few times a year, decent sized art
Yes.
exhibits. Like, you know, that'd be a good chance to bring down a 4 or 6 piece.
Yeah, we're gonna pair it with a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
once we get it built, John's already built a community calendar. So I'm highlighting like for September in particular, because we've got several events. There's the St. Gabe's has their Oktoberfest. The Blue Arrows has something. Rushville has a concert, so it leaves 1 or 2 weekends. So we're trying not to compete with anyone. We definitely want to compete with our local groups.
I know
yes,
And then homecoming is the weekend before St. Gabe's stuff.
And I need to talk to you about homecoming. Well, I'm gonna talk to Andrea because I was asked to do a prom on the middle of the street. I said,
That's
why don't you
dangerous.
wait till we get Market Street down? Plus, that time of year is kind of iffy on weather.
Put up
Yeah.
a tent maybe.
But if they want to do
Yeah.
homecoming, right there would be a great place. We already got the lights and the sound. All I gotta do is bring a DJ and we could have a lot of fun with that.
Well, we did have
Okay.
several years
We
ago,
got that. We got that.
several years ago when Curtis was one of the senior sponsors, they did prom at the high school under a.
They did.
tent.
I remember that. And it
Oh,
did
really?
rain.
Mhm. And I mean, it
I was
rained,
fine.
but wasn't a problem.
I'm the student council sponsor, so I put on homecoming, so.
There you go. I was
Yeah.
gonna talk to whoever.
It'd be a lot of fun.
I forgot to wait
Very
till
capable.
school got kicked back in, but that'd be a neat place to do.
They liked
homecoming.
when we
Yeah.
DJ.
We have it set up for this
No,
year.
when?
For to happen in the old gym at the moment. Tents are expensive, so that would be like my only concern
Hmm,
is like the cost of the tent compared to like a free venue.
There you go.
Yeah.
We are, by the way, if people ask, we're not renting that facility out right now. The RDC discussed this. Right now it's for city sponsored events only.
Okay.
It doesn't mean we're not going to rent it out, but we got lots of discussions before we get able to do something like that. Insurance, there's a lot of
I
expense.
wanted
on
to mention that. We just had the health department talk to me today and just about it. If they were wanting to do an event sometime this fall, who would they contact or whatever?
Right now, there's where they just haven't reached out to me, but right now we do not have a rental fee. Partly because it's not going to be cheap because you're paying for expertise with the sound and lights. People can bring their own. No, we're not doing that. You're not gonna hook into our system at all.
It
That's
depends on the
that's
event.
dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
It is very specifically designed for the system we have.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
So
Does Connersville have madrigals like or something like that?
I'm sorry.
Does Connersville have madrigals or something like that?
They are, the IPA is working on one now.
'Cause I know Rushville did, but that would be something like Polar Express to do a show.
Sure.
my other question is, so if we bring a DJ in, a lot of DJs now want access to the internet, like, is that like an
Ready
easy
to go.
possibility? Okay,
All done.
'cause I'm at the high school, it's a whole different thing and I have.
Very easy there.
If we bring a DJ in, they'll have to work with John and Justin
Mhm.
and make sure that, because we use our sound system,
Right,
but I want to make sure it's patched correctly.
right, that makes sense.
So
And how much internet they need would be, they'd have to talk, like, we'd have to talk to them about, but yeah, there's internet.
Right.
I'm sure they
Yeah.
just want to get access to their library.
Yeah, that's basically what they need.
it's
Um,
a music library,
A lot of,
They're gonna want our lights too, so.
yeah,
which is easy.
Yeah,
a
so,
lot of libraries are downloaded though. Like mostly it's for requests. Like if somebody comes up with a request that I don't have downloaded in my library, it's like, I've got to have that internet to type it
It's
up.
easy enough to grab it and stream it, so.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's the DJ that we hire is out of Indy. And typically, like, they do uplighting and stuff like that as well. They bring. a
They can
bunch
bring
of
the lights
stuff.
all they want. I mean, but
So-
if they see what we got, they'll be like,
No need to unload it.
No need.
Which
yeah.
that would be my first thought was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay,
because we've got the
That's
fog
good, yeah.
machines, we've got bubble machines, we've got geysers.
Oh, man, those bubble machines, you probably didn't see them. We got bubble machines that put haze in the bubbles. When they pop, they. But I held off on that for the show on Celebration of the Ville until the last act. And there were still kids there and I turned those things on because you can do it remotely. And I turned them on and just started shooting those out and the kids they loved it. And then the lead singer of Journey was out there playing in the bubbles. So.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Good.
We focus on the tech side. We want to create something. Everyone's got an outdoor amphitheater. No one's got one with all the tech we got, and no one's got one designed the way ours is designed. Every member of the band, every band commented on it. Even that came in, even the big band, at the end, they're like,
Yeah.
we've never played at an outdoor event center like this anywhere.
Wow.
And they're like, you're going to attract big acts. I go, that's the whole point. So that's why it's positioned the way it is.
Mhm.
I can put 50 people in a parking lot. That whole parking lot's ours. I can put 8,000 out there pretty easy. So
Mhm.
it's sitting the way it is for a specific reason. That's
Yep.
the size it's at will
Expansion.
not, we can always grow it.
Yeah.
And the stage, we designed it from a musician standpoint. I
Mhm.
get so frustrated when I go, Clint, you can confirm this, when you go somewhere to play, they don't have good sound, they don't have good lights, and they don't have monitors.
Yeah.
All three of those things are very critical. We've got all those bases covered.
It's also protected from the sun.
Yes, so
Mhm.
at 6 o'clock, when we were out here, when we were in that stage, you could not see our lights till it got dark.
Yep.
Right.
And the musicians are playing with the sun
Into the
going
sun.
down in their eyes, and it was hard, they were sweating to death. Now at 6 o'clock, the sun's behind you, you got a shade on the stage. You're
Lights
protected
show up
from the,
great.
and the lights just show up great, so. There's more than one reason why it's sitting where it's sitting.
Good job.
That would be pretty cool for homecoming.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to someone about that, so I was gonna call Andrew, like, no, they're on spring or summer break now, so.
Oh,
Now
no,
you go, now you can do it.
it's me. I'm the person, me and Amanda Combs are the sponsors, so.
What's the date for homecoming?
Let me pull up my calendar real quick.
Let's put that on the calendar I created.
Cause this is for community events and we wanna highlight
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, that'll be really, really neat. That would be
Mhm.
super cool. The kids keep wanting to have it out in the courtyard again and
That was a cool night.
Yeah,
The weather cooperated.
DJs
Yeah,
that
they
night.
had good DJs.
September. I don't trust that.
I don't know that our children thought the DJs were great.
My youngest did,
Yeah.
my youngest was embarrassed. but
Yeah,
my-
mine was
My
too.
son was like, that was pretty cool.
No, Dad, you did really good, but don't do it again.
I told Kendall this
I'm
year,
gonna
I was
think
like,
you
well,
said,
if all else
"This
fails,
is
I'll
for
just
my
call your
daughter."
dad. She's
Yeah.
like, stop.
She didn't appreciate that.
So yeah, he's like, don't call my dad. Okay, so it is going to be. I thought that day. It will be the 26th is the game and the 27th will be the dance.
October,
September.
no, September.
The 27th. That's the night of Blue Air, or that's St. Gabe's Festival,
Yeah,
so that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, one of the things with that calendar that I created was to pull in all of surrounding communities, kind of touched on, so we don't compete with, so, I mean, that's the silliest thing is to put on an event
Yeah.
and half your audiences.
Nobody
in town
went.
to go someplace else, and you're
Yeah.
pulling from them, it
We don't
doesn't make
wanna do
sense.
that.
So we're trying to be very cooperative.
This is where coordinating with musicians and everything gets
Mhm.
very tricky, because you're trying to do their schedules with the community schedule, and it's tedious.
My only other question then would be parking and where we're gonna have the kids park and stuff like that, but that can be something.
Well, the parking could be in the parking lot, because they'll just use that space under the string lights. They won't need any more
They
than
have
that.
that,
Okay,
the Fifth Third Bank parking lot by T3 is available, city parking lot at night.
And even
and then I'm
down,
assuming we'll
Down the
block
street.
off
we can block everything off.
those streets and stuff.
There's decent parking
That's
over
good.
here. That building's not in use anymore. That lot could be used for parking.
Even on Central Avenue and Fifth Street, there's a ton of parking on the street parking, but I think with not, depending on how many kids typically come,
Like 400 to 500.
well, that would be easy to fit under there then. They'll fit
I'm
under that.
like,
There's a lot of
it just
concrete.
depends.
There's a lot of space. The only thing you won't have would be tables. Well, I guess if we can want to rent some tables, we can bring some tables, but that's the only thing we don't have.
Park has a bunch.
Okay.
Those are a pain. We just rented from Gilman's.
All right, ready
It's
to
an
motion?
Yeah.
Income budget support, John?
Okay, well, since last meeting, the state passed SB1, as you know. They also passed a small hidden bill that removed 1% of the cable franchise fee, which essentially took away 20% of our funding. So I calculated that in for next year, ran the numbers on that. So I can give you a breakdown on the numbers. That's too much information to hand out, but what we're looking at this year is an income of around $110,000 for a budget of 215, although we don't hit that 215. Last year, I think we spent 194, so I'm shooting for lower than that even, so just to try and keep us as low as possible. But next year, with that new law kicking in, lowering it down, our income's looking to come in around 70,000. So it's dropping significantly. I'm not sure why they did that, but there it is.
Does that include the trending decline?
It does.
in cables?
It does because Metronet, of course, stopped cable, and you can see that recently their last income from them that we saw was significantly lower. So, next month, next quarter, rather, they'll be completely gone, which I've calculated in already, including projections for this year. Current cash balance, 169,519. We've got 124,274 in investments, 42,000 in weather bug restricted, and $1,000 in Apex equipment fund. Total available 336,928.
So, any questions on budget? Okay. We need a motion to accept John's report, please. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Old business. Live streaming.
Yeah, live stream compliance as we get closer to July 1st. Like I said before, the city's ready to go. Nobody else is.
Schools, where I got the MOU.
Okay, so the schools did respond on that. So the school corporation is included in that now, so that's good. I have one request come in from Everton Water, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. I think they're finally looking at it like a lot of agencies and boards and going, oh no, that's tomorrow. And that's why I work on it a year and a half in advance, and there's still people are like, oh no, that's tomorrow. Okay. But, so we got basically 30 days left, maybe, coming up before the law takes effect.
So question on that. I'm on the Connersville Township Board now.
Yep.
And that has been a discussion point of, do we have to live stream those
You do?
through you guys, or is the alternate of going through Facebook and storing it? I know there's storage issues there.
Can't use Facebook.
Is there any other option that when I go to the next meeting, I can say, these are the options that we have?
The problem is, and I tried to explain it to him before, it's not just streaming. There's a whole back end to it. You have to post in advance where the stream will be, which means you have to be able to create the stream in advance.
Yeah.
You can't just turn on your phone and go, oh, I'm streaming now. You have to have that code in advance, which means you have to have a desktop application to create that. You also have to tie in with your agendas, your minutes, and any memoranda for the meeting, which would include, for like a township, your budget, something like that. You would need to post in
So those documents would have to be accessible as well.
in advance and posted, which I have created on the city county website. That's kind of ready to go. But they were pretty much against even streaming. When I talked to them previously, their words were basically, I'm not doing it.
Well, and that was,
Not exactly, but
that was somewhat
Okay.
interpreted in my conversation as well. And I think it comes down to money. It was their
yeah,
concern.
I get it. I
So-
mean, it's the state has laid that upon all
No,
of
I
us.
know. And the only maybe logical question that I had was if we could arrange the boards to meet on the same day and schedule them
Yeah, that's
accordingly.
kind of what I would
that be easier
recommend.
for you? And would that do anything to lower cost?
I mean, we still have to meet the budget. That's the
Sure.
question.
Sure.
There's two things. The law specifically mentions the townships, so I know they're after townships.
Yeah.
You do have a grace period more than other boards because townships, after reading that law, that was fun. I don't know that anybody has read the township code, but it is squirrely. But they basically are required 4 meetings, but you can do them almost all at once.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
We did too.
yeah, you could do that as long as you combine them into 2 things. So they're basically saying you have to have this by the 3rd, blah, 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 on the
Yeah.
3rd. And like, okay, so you could do this and then do that. So as far as that, most boards have already met at the first of the year, January 1,
Right.
and already
Budget
completed
meetings.
all the meetings they had to do for the year. I think they're probably going to change that, by the way. I think they got something in mind for townships, but who knows what the state.
That sounds
legislature will do.
exciting.
I'm telling you, just brace yourself. But this year, you're fine.
Yeah.
I don't think you have any other meetings. Now, if you were to hold another meeting after July 1st, I'd recommend live streaming.
Sure.
The reason why is that the law specifies that if anybody challenges anything you did during that and you did not live stream, then anything you did is void. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have to do it again. So it's
You have
no
a website?
financial liability, but
What's that?
They have a website built, so you gotta post your minutes and everything, and then FOIA
Maybe
recorder.
we'll do
I don't
that on
think
the
so.
county's website. Don't we have townships on the county?
I built out the township pages on the website, but I have no data from
I was
it.
gonna
So
say,
it's
I
not-
don't think anything's being posted.
All
We may
right.
have the platform for it.
I've created the basic platform.
Yeah.
But I haven't created the rest of it yet.
Yeah, that's supposed to be posted.
That's why I wanted to get started in advance.
Yeah,
So
I-
we wouldn't at the last minute have to build. all
Well,
this stuff.
in my defense, I agree with you. It should have been processed in advance. I just came into this position a month ago and that was one of the first conversations was we have to face this live stream deal and
Yeah.
and it's here whether we like it or not. We got to figure out what to do with it. So that's something that I can come over and talk to you and
Yeah.
try to coordinate with.
As far
again.
as funding for it, I understand what their concerns are, especially when we're dealing with very small ones.
Yeah.
That don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
Right.
this is something I want to clarify
Sure.
just for a minute. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but was the townships is something, because the interlocal agreements is what we're getting ready, we discussed and we're gonna meet soon. Was the townships included in what this interlocal agreement was gonna be for the county? Did you have them included in that? It was just all of our government.
No,
To be honest, it's been
Because
so
you had them
long.
on the list. I know last meeting you had them listed, so I kind of made an assumption that maybe you had included them in that if
I
it was local
haven't
agreement.
had much discussion with them. We had a meeting over a year ago, where I kind of spelled out, the basic budget and what we needed to meet. And I don't want to overcharge anybody. I just want to meet budget at a minimal capability so we can function. So it would make sense for all of those people that are involved to meet together and figure out how to do that.
What we did come to, I guess the conclusion we came through in the law itself and interpretation of the law is that it really applies to townships.
Yep.
And then us, commissioners, council. Yeah, but not all of those boards that were named. It had to be that they had to be meeting in that room. Other boards that
There's
meet
a
in our
sub-
rooms.
Sub portion of that though,
Yeah.
if the board has access to the room and the internet,
Well, I have this printed out,
The-
so
the-
we went over this, we've grilled it. I'm sorry, but, we have, I don't mean to
That's
disturb. I
fine.
hope this isn't televised.
yeah, we're live stream.
Talking, I don't want to do that. But yeah, the interpretation and the way that we understand it, that was part of the problem. And it looks like the county's been dragging their heels, but really it's just that we wanted to make sure we completely understood it because there's a
Sure.
lot of people with questions, trying to figure out how they're gonna do it. And then you have the great, wonderful bill that just passed for all of us to know we're getting things cut instead of, so, just a little bit of hesitancy. We want to make sure that we understood everything.
Mhm.
And so it is that we obviously want to support, the best we can. We appreciate the service we have in our community, that the way we understood it and got it down. And Jeff is going to work on, putting together an actual letter for us to have understanding of exactly what the county has to have live streamed. So there's no confusion. But it ends up being about 72 meetings just for the county. So that was all of our commissioner, council, their budget hearings, and then APC and drainage. And then, of course, any other extra that would come from like maybe with APC, the zoning appealing, if those were to come into play. Anything over a certain number, 72, we thought, would be, something that might be considered on us, so to speak. But then from taking away all of those other entities that really aren't required to meet and be live streamed. They still have to meet and they'll still have to upload. There is some rules of being transparent for them. They'll have to have things. So the hope is when our website gets where it should be also, people, they will be able to post and
Have
put
the
in. So
access.
I would love that. I'm hopeful that, I'd love to meet with John and really go over more and maybe see what it's gonna look like for the county.
Yeah.
We just had to get it we just had to get it exact on exactly what it is. Because there was so much confusion for people in it, I think. And even as trustee, I understood that's just something extra to think. I mean, it was in my home, in my office, I'm in Orange Township, I didn't think about getting to town.
Sure.
I mean, I understood
Yeah.
people pushing back on it and, you don't have a lot of.
I did too. I get the hesitancy, especially when it's,
Yeah,
you know, nobody's got money just
yeah,
thrown up in the air.
Only Connersville and Harrison could.
they
afford
got the money, Connersville.
Yes, Connersville here.
it. And Connersville can't afford it. They have enough
Yeah.
in reserve.
Yeah.
So it will come together, or we'll have to get together and we will be meeting soon.
It's never been my concern to force boards to comply. I just know that if they don't and somebody in the community disagrees, they'll be challenged.
And I don't think it takes too much imagination to see that happening in 2025.
Mhm.
I mean, you know the people we
Yeah.
deal with, so.
Yeah.
John, I've talked before about being on the alcohol and tobacco board that meets.
That's a state board.
It's a state board, but on our last meeting, the excise officer brought in this little tower about this tall that had a dome on the top of it that had
An
a
owl.
360-degree
Yeah.
camera.
An owl.
An owl, yeah. So that's what we're using. We're using county property for our meeting courthouse, but,
I'm not even sure they have to comply. I don't know.
Right.
It's entirely up to him to comply. He's a state level agency, which is included, but
evidently if he has that, then all the different districts around the state are doing that.
probably, they can tie in with the, in.gov pretty easily, I would think. So that's where all their posting would be. He may be streaming to in.gov as well, which is fine. That meets state law and they got plenty of money to do that there. So.
Mhm.
Any other questions, concerns?
Well, the real question is, what do we do when we have other boards come to us and go, hey, what can we do? Cause it's gonna happen. They're just now realizing apparently. So
Have you notified every agency that you're aware of that
Yeah.
falls under that
Since
umbrella?
last year.
Yeah.
I worked on it a year and a half ago
Yeah.
since the bill passed.
And that's what was my question, because I don't want anybody coming up saying, well, nobody told me.
It's just that it was so far away.
Yeah.
And they knew it was cost involved.
Take it down
So
the
they
road.
went,
We spent a lot of time working with the authors of the bill first.
Yeah.
So we knew exactly what we're talking about because it's very difficult to interpret. So I want to know that the author has intention. That's how it's going to be interpreted.
Sure.
So me and John spent time with the authors of the bill, so we completely understood it.
Hmm.
And that's where when we take a firm stance on something, that's why.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
come directly out of their mouth.
Talked to the guy that wrote the bill several times. We went up to the State House, and talked to him up there specifically on this issue.
Yeah.
And not just one, but several, that authored the bill, not just our representatives, because they really.
They didn't know the
secondary.
details.
No.
Sure.
But it has changed from that beginning, and that's where the confusion came in, I think. I mean, it's changed just a little bit.
They
So-
changed to it, they added enforcement this last session, that clarified how enforcement's supposed to work.
That's a piece they didn't have in the first one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they left that wide open previously, so they kind of clarified that some now, which is
Well, I mean,
helpful.
like, I'm on the public defender board, and we just got notification, because lots of people were questioning, like, the board you're on, because it's out there, like, who has to do this? And, we're not required to have to stream. We just can continue as we are. But the beginning of it was like, maybe we will,
Sure.
But you don't
Because
know.
it was thrown out there that had to do with tax dollars and all that, but it really just has to do with the executive and legislative fiscal bodies of county, city, town, and township that have to be streamed. Township's the addition, which is what our understanding of it was, so.
They
But this
deal
would
with money,
be-
yeah.
It'll be better clarified too, I think, as communication gets out to people, so we really know exactly I'll let you, I don't know, but the back page kind of helped understand some things better too. But I know this how bills are. I mean, that's why, I appreciate all the work y'all did, and we do intend to be supportive. So I'm not, but I do know we've got some verification as far as county stands on it. And we intend to be fully compliant with what we're supposed to do, and that there's a lot of entities that may have been originally understanding as being non-compliant if they didn't do this streaming. They are not going to be in that. And like I just said with public defender.
I would love to see wide open cooperation, city, county, school board, all where each entity gets to decide what boards, they should or want to have live stream, and we'll just have the capability to do it.
That's what we tend to do. We'll have a list.
And
Yeah.
then once we
It's-
got the budget covered, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We could do whatever.
Well, that's why I was hopeful. That's why I kind of mentioned the trustees, it might work out that no more than they meet. If they're willing to, well, Connersville's close, Harrison's
Sure.
close. They might be willing to, they could,
And
I
some,
think that was what y'all said last time. It wouldn't matter how many meetings we had, it'd just be the same. That agreement that you hope to get with us would be the
Yeah.
same. So
Right.
it might work out that it would be a help to the trustees
Yeah.
bill. So that's what my hope is in this.
And I don't in any way want to interrupt. I agree wholeheartedly that if I don't want, and I know it says that if there's a technological error, that the validity can't be challenged, but I don't want to be the one on that case law, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like, I don't want to be the one that gets tried and,
Yeah, yeah, you have to do what you need
Yeah.
to do. Mhm.
yeah, so.
And I think this law's good. Personally, I
Yeah.
think that people need to have more
Yeah.
ability to see what is and what's going on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it'll help us all get our desires, we've talked about it, is have our internet, and also not just internet, but the ability to get on the website, the shared website we have, and have everything there, be able to get to where you need to go, be able to see the meetings and communicate with anybody you need to communicate with. You can come to Connersville and get on the website and see what's going on, and also communicate with your elected officials or get what forms you may need or whatever it is. And it's all there. It's not,
that's the idea.
it's not been, everything it should be. So we need to get up, we need to get where we need to be. News Examiner is only 2 days a week in town, so
Right.
That's
we
rough.
need to be able to do what we need to do, and having the events is gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Having
so
everything
our
on there.
website's getting ready to launch any day now.
Mhm.
We completely redid our website.
We're working on it too.
A piece of the puzzle with the website is there's an app called, and we're gonna have a meeting here. So, yeah, did I send you the meeting invite? Okay, it'd be a
Hours worth of training.
couple of weeks here, isn't it? And we're gonna be working with community people to go out. So one of the things when I first came in office was a community calendar.
Mhm.
Everyone's talking about a community calendar. It's been tried and failed every single time because no one really communicates. And John can't spend his time chasing people down to get information they don't want to
Chasing
say.
cats.
So it's been very frustrating. So we kind of just gave up on it for a while. But this new website has something attached to it called What's Up 24/7. And it's a community calendar, but we're not chasing people down. They'll have to sign each individual business or organization up. It's a very small fee, so you have buy-in. And it's up to the organization to log in and input their information.
Right.
So when you log into Carnival's website and you say, what's going on this weekend, it launches you to it's a seamless transition to this, What's Up 24/7, and you can see every event for the time selected. And if a restaurant has to have a special, they can put it on there. They can click on the restaurants and see everything. So,
Nice.
but it's up to the organization to constantly update that. But
Sure.
they have
Themselves.
they have a small buy-in, so that gives them motivation to do it. And it doesn't stay just with Connersville, it goes statewide.
Mhm.
And they're looking to take it beyond state too. So
This comes from the State Department, isn't it?
Diego Morales is
yeah.
doing it through the Secretary of State.
Nice.
So
Mhm.
all that's being done right now. And I think it's a great solution to our community calendar.
Mhm.
There's like all of our concerts. We'll be posting those on that. So we'll have our city concert, we'll have one where we post all of our events going on. So
Mhm.
it's a great marketing tool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it looks like. and how
I
it
am
is.
too. So we got training coming up in a couple of weeks here.
That's good.
In your discussion with the writers of this bill, was there any discussion about the state maybe finding out how much this is gonna cost and throwing in some money to the.
Yes,
That
we
is
did.
not how our state
And the
government
answer-
Well, I know that's not how they operate.
That's the answer.
I gave them the answer. So they came up and said, well, the state budget committee says there'll be so much money. We just thought that was crazy expensive. And I confirmed, I was like, no, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Here's our cost. And they're like, there's just no way.
Mhm.
I was
They
like,
don't believe it.
And what are we supposed to do? The Andrew just pat us on the head and go, you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
That is
So-
exactly word for word what he said.
that's what I thought, yeah.
You'll figure it out.
It was a very frustrating experience. So they increased our expense more ways than one. That's not the only one. Then they decreased our income.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
took
they did.
away any motivation for growth we've had. They have stripped away from us.
Yeah.
It's very discouraging, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Really
Um,
is.
It's nothing like finally getting
Mhm.
the steam rolling and then getting cut off at the knees.
And then kicked while you're down.
Yeah, so it's for every mayor I know, it's just very discouraged right now, especially new mayors coming in. And like in our case where we haven't had any growth for a long time, we're finally growing again and they just got, no, you don't get any of it now.
Yeah.
They've taken away any motivation you've had for anything.
And
So,
on top of that, taking away 20% of the funding that was driving the ability to do what they
Right,
tell us to
right.
do.
and I contacted Lester. I said, look, I know you're getting ready to vote on this, but here's how we use those dollars.
Mhm.
And now, the sad thing is most communities don't use those dollars like they're supposed to to fund
Right.
TV3. Very few have that. I said, but this is how we're going to fund TV3 so we can fund our live streaming, a law that you made us do and didn't let us fund it, and they took it away from us anyway. So
Okay,
very frustrating, to be honest. I was very frustrated.
I can
And
understand.
meanwhile, they give the right of way for all the internet cabling for free.
Yeah.
That needs to change.
Okay, anything else on all of this?
You better stop before I start crying more.
I want to hear it. All right, miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous
Miscellaneous business, miscellaneous
That's where
business.
you were in Europe, and
Nah, I lost that in Europe somewhere. Yeah. Anything? No? And we have no one from the public here, so we don't have that, so.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Next meeting is Wednesday, August 27th.
We are now adjourned.
Thank you.